رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to In the Light of the Quran, overview of the recitation for the 17th night of Ramadan. And tonight's recitation is constituted of the 21st juz of the Quran and covers part of Al-Ankabut, the spider, Surah Ar-Rum, the Romans, Surah Luqman, the wise, Sajda, prostration, and part of Surah Al-Ahzab, the confederates. The concluding portion of Surah Al-Ankabut, the spider, reference has been made to the frail ideologies which are like the web of a spider, seemingly beautiful though actually a trap, serving the function of a trap, very weak indeed. We also find that the revelation is meant to be understood, to be read, and to be implemented, and a guidance to keep us away from evil and corruption. And the injunctions of prayer and of charity are meant to harness within us the potential for goodness within ourselves, spiritually and morally, and for the welfare of society around us. Surah Ar-Rum, the Romans, the 30th chapter in the chronological order of the Quran, is a Meccan surah. Rum literally means the Romans, which the word appears in the first verse of the surah, but refers actually to the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire. Hence the title is sometimes translated as the Byzantines. This chapter opens with a discussion about the most virulent manifestation of human differences, war. Particularly the war which was raging at that time between the world's two great powers, the Byzantine Romans and the Persian Empire. This discussion then leads to a broader discourse of the difference between the fortunes of nations and a promise that the Muslims, who were at that time weak and downtrodden, will have indeed a brighter future. The rise and decline of world powers is highlighted, as represented by the conflict between the Romans and the Persians. This chapter also focuses on the signs of Allah, all the signs that we witness around us. And a series of verses begin with وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, among the innumerable signs of the divine. And here we find the theme of difference and the associated phenomena of change, of alternation, of difference and variety. All are employed thematically throughout the chapter of Ar-Rum. This affirms the greatness of the Almighty and His wisdom. He says, for example, among His innumerable signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the difference in your color and in your tongues. Now, as an example, the difference between people's complexion is one of the most obvious of differences. Our various colors are signs of God's creative power and a manifestation of His wisdom. At the same time, skin color has proven to be a trial for many who have used this superficial difference as a criterion for prejudice. As for the difference in our tongues, there are a number of possible interpretations. It could be understood to refer to our various languages, or to the different dialects or vocal qualities and speaking abilities, or it can refer to the content and attitude and approach of people's discourse, whether pleasant or abusive, optimistic or despondent, ethical or malevolent. The main theme of Surah Ar-Rum is the lessons we learn from the national struggles between superpowers and the ebb and flow of political authorities. We also see the contrast between monotheism and polytheism. In addition to making logical arguments against ascribing partners to Allah, several verses outline the differing fate for the idolaters and the believers. The unicity of the divine is also emphasized, the oneness of the Creator, with descriptions of His glory through illustrations of His wondrous signs and His miraculous design. Surah Luqman, the 31st chapter in the chronological order of the Quran, is titled after Luqman the sage, whose admonition to his son has been revealed in this surah. The wise advice of Luqman to his son is a means for us to learn the fundamentals of our faith. It has been pointed out that this Quran is not a teaching of new morals or values which is being presented to the world or the land of Arabia for the first time, and with which the people of the world may be unfamiliar. No, the learned and wise people throughout history said and taught in essence the same universal values which Prophet Muhammad is conveying. All of the fundamentals of this religion are summed up in this surah, which includes the importance of Tawheed, the evil of shirk or associating partners with God or polytheism, the establishment of salah, the fulfillment of zakah, the avoidance of overindulgence in materialism and worldly distractions that lead people astray, the importance of respect for parents, and the righteous upbringing of children, good character, humility, and the importance of conveying the truth, and the need for patient perseverance throughout life. Surah As-Sajdah is a Meccan surah and the 32nd chapter in the chronological order of the Holy Quran. And it focuses on the fundamental of belief and our relationship with Allah. And this includes a description of the qualities of the righteous worshipper as those who truly believe in Allah, and in the verses of Revelation are those who, when they are reminded of this, of the Creator and His verses, they fall into prostration and glorify the Lord with praise. And they are not arrogant. They spend part of the night awake, thanking their Lord, and also calling out of fear for the wrongfulness, out of hope of His reward. And they spend in charity for the benefit of those around them from that which God had provided for them. Surah Sajdah means the prostration. And here we find also the scene of the hereafter has been depicted. The fruits of belief and the evil consequence of disbelief had been mentioned, and the people have been exhorted to give up disbelief before they meet their doom. Following revelation is to their own advantage in this world and the hereafter. They have been told it's Allah's supreme mercy that He does not seize human beings immediately for their error and punish them immediately. Rather, He sees how human beings respond to small troubles and hardships and losses and strokes of misfortune. And from this, that human beings may learn to awaken and take admonition. This book is sent down as a revelation that continues the tradition of previous prophets like Moses. Nothing strange in this which you could find unusual. But be assured that this book has come down, and note well that the same will happen now as happened to the people of Moses who denied and opposed him. We see the end of the doomed communities of the past, by whose ruins we walk by. We see their habitations, yet we do not learn from these lessons. Do you not see that the phenomena in your daily life, that land looks dead, previously barren, but as soon as it rains, swelling with vegetation and life after the rain. But before this, no one could ever imagine that under the layers of this soil lay hidden the potential treasury of greenery and foliage and herbage. So too, the spark of faith can revive a barren soul that is lost in the quagmire of falsehood and wrongfulness, and bloom into a field of righteousness. Faith can do that to a human being. People tend to mock the people of faith and demean the idea of judgment until the day of judgment comes. Surah Al-Ahzab, the clans, was revealed after the Battle of the Trench, around the 5th year of Hijrah, and parts of it after the 7th year, after the Khaybar settlement. The Battle of the Trench showed that without Allah's help, the Muslims would have to face tragedy. It shows that the hypocrites are insincere and afraid to fight for the cause when they are tested. But we are also reminded, under all conditions, that humanity have indeed in the Prophet of Allah an ideal exemplar. Through the periods between the Battle of Uhud and the Trench were tremendous period disturbance and turmoil, and the Prophet could hardly relax with his companions in peace and security, even for a day. Muslim society continued to be interrupted by warfare and attacks. This was the time when Islamic laws pertaining to marriage and divorce were complemented. the law of inheritance was introduced, drinking and gambling was prohibited, and the laws and regulations concerning many other aspects of economic and social life were promulgated. We are reminded that we tend to look for solutions everywhere else, while ignoring the commands of Allah, and in so doing, we break our link with the all-powerful one who can provide the ultimate guidance leading to felicity. Shukran. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان رمضان